The Italian government predicts that one of the country's biggest banks will narrowly avoid collapse at the end of the year. The country's Prime Minister, Matteo Renzi, says Monte dei Paschi di Siena, the world's oldest surviving bank, will have to increase capital to fill in the gaps in its accounts. And it's one of the biggest worries for the European economy. Our Soraya Lenny has more from Rome.
This is the Trevi Fountain, the world-famous Italian monument where people throw in coins and make wishes. And much like at the fountain, Italian investors threw their money into banks. And many, like Carla and Mirena, now wish they hadn't. They've lost their life savings.
This money was for my children who were studying at university. I had recently lost my job, and these savings were my safety net. I was counting on it for emergencies, but overnight, I found myself empty-handed.
They are among more than 6,000 people affected.
These managers use their power just for their own gain, and there's nothing we could do to protect ourselves. This is an example of what Italy is like. For me, for my children, if I could, I would leave the country tomorrow.
They are with Bank Etruria, one of the first 4 banks to collapse.
The Italian government hopes to pay back 80% of the customers' lost money, but this is subject to tax, so realistically it'll be around 50%. But there's also additional criteria. No customer can earn more than $40,000 a year, nor hold more than $112,000 worth of assets or property. So realistically, most customers will be eligible for nothing.
That's why hundreds of people have now launched a class action with some consumer organizations.
The funds were managed very badly. They were either used for the personal expenses of bank managers or to do favors to friends. They gave big loans with no guarantees that the money would have been paid back.
In all, 16 banks have been taken over by the central bank. That's because Italian banks hold more than $400 billion of non-performing loans. And 3 of the biggest, including Monte dei Paschi di Siena, are also on the verge of collapse.
It could trigger, let's say, a fear that many other investors in other banks already have, that those banks also might fail. And so in this sense, it can create a sort of panic.
Economists warn Italy needs tougher regulations, but even so, it's too late for thousands of people who have already lost everything. Soraya Lenny, Trt World, Rome.